only editing I'll have to do is clip a little bit of the beginning and clip a little bit at the end until I get the keyboard here, and then we're set.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. So anyway, what's going on this week?
It was a lot. My car got almost totaled, and I say almost totaled because I don't know yet. And because it's a Tesla, the tire, you hit the tire is the motor.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm seeing if the actual motor, the rod that actually connects to the tire, if that got bent, car's totaled.
It's over.
It is over. Good thing though is it'd be a $2,000 deductible and it'll be a new car.
Yeah.
They have to replace it.
Yeah.
So that's good-ish news. The other good news is they decided to take the claim without a police report because I never filed a police report.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, what I explained to them, they're like, I don't know if we can help you. I go, you understand it was 12:30 at night with only 2 people on the road and the one person who hit me took off. That means you have one witness, and we had no property damage to anything else but my car.
Yeah.
Tell me how a police report's going to help anything.
Right.
Other than throwing in some additional documentation that we don't need to throw into a claim.
Yep.
And I was like, on top of that, my car, which is, I would say, pretty technologically impaired, didn't even register a crash in it to do the
Exactly.
cameras anyways.
Yeah.
So where does that leave me? She goes, you got collision, you're fine. Okay.
Yeah.
But I was lucky I didn't need a police report for that. So.
Yep.
But I'm going to be out of car for 2 months probably.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to, every week, because I go and drive a ton, I'm going to have to run a car 2-3 times a week.
2 months? What? How?
That's just their estimate on the weight because of the repair that would be needed, because they have to take off the quarter panel and then take off the wheel, and if they have to do anything on the inside, which the suspension is going to be messed up, they're going to have to repair all of that. And the thing is, they don't go to Tesla to repair it. Tesla would do it faster. But Tesla's so expensive, insurance won't actually pay for Tesla to do the repairs. They'll go to a Tesla-approved shop. Tell me how amazing that is.
But, like, they'll at least be able to tell if it's totaled before 2 months, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like...
But they said even to get a new car, it would be around 2 months because they'd have to try to find a replacement in the same type of model, same type of year, same type of mileage.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd rather just give me a Camry.
I will take anything.
It's like a 1991 Corolla at this point.
Hey, if it's paid off, I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing, that we're really, if they do total it out, they have to total it out to what I owe on the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have insurance up to that amount for a reason.
Yeah.
So it can work in my favor and couldn't work. I'm still waiting to see what actually aspires out of it.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
But I had that fun ordeal happen. I think since the last time I came back from Missouri. I think that's about it. I mean, I traveled to Tampa, to Orlando.
Yeah, you worked.
Worked a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of good things going. It seems like when I was driving over here, I was trying to think of like what's the main thing I wanted to hit on today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I wanted to hit on, if it's okay if I can kind of steer it,
hit it,
is every time I have a ton of adversity, meaning how hard was it for me to get to that conference that I needed to get to?
Right, gotcha.
Every which thing happened to make something in this world try to block me on my way there.
Yep.
And my thing is typically back in the day, and I will say even in my early entrepreneur career, I would have took that and gone, I'm going home.
Yep.
Nope, I'm not going. I just crashed my car This is like I didn't crash my car, but I got hit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to the airport. I'm not going to go travel for 4 days. I got to take care of this. That's not worth it. Absolutely not. But what I'm going towards is whenever I have the biggest defeats, it seemed like the better I handle them, the just abundant amount of resources and rewards I get in a very short amount of period afterwards, because I don't let that affect me
So
like I used to.
I'll touch on that because that was the same for me when I was, first getting started and stuff. But it wasn't so much that I couldn't handle it, or like it was whatever I was going to do or whatever it was, I was nervous about. So when that event happened, someone hits me in the car, that's my excuse to get out of it. So I would fight myself that way.
Exactly. And the thing is, I made up my mind long before that was something I was going to do. Nothing was going to stop me, even
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, to be honest, I could have been hurt and they would have been like, yeah, you got to go to the hospital. I would have been like, you can catch me in 4 days, bro.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like I was going, but before I would have used that as an excuse to go, you know what? Maybe my car not starting today was the reason I should not go door knock and go
Yeah.
make a little bit more progress and, activity and control what I can control.
Absolutely. And again, it was, I don't want to say nervous, anxious, but
You didn't know what the outcome would be. You didn't trust
scared.
yourself.
I'm going to say scared. I was scared that I would fail at whatever it was. And so that one thing would be my excuse to not do it. And absolutely, same stuff. If it were an event or door knocking, something like that, yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I'll even share a little story here. I think it was I was selling over the phone for like 6 months, and then I went to go back in the home, and I called you. I was like, "Bro, this is not it. This is like
Yeah,
I
that
haven't
was-
done this in a hot minute. This is rough. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this." I still went and did it.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing is, like that almost crippled me, and I was like, you know what? Let me call the individuals I know that will put me on the right track and still get me to go do that activity. Because if I would have called other people, they would have said, no, turn around. Don't, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Like, if you're getting that gut feeling, you feel like you're sick, you feel like you're that nervous, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
No, and it was the opposite. They're like, okay, you're feeling that way because of why, and you're confident enough to go do it. You've done it 1,000 times. What are you doing?
Time to lock in.
Exactly. And it was more or less as I was getting nervous in the sense is I always get nervous when, even if it doesn't matter how much I prep for something, if it's something that I haven't done in a while, but I know I can do it, I get nervous because I'm nervous I'm going to mess it up, but it's always like riding a bike for me.
Yep.
If I've done it once, I can get right back on it and make it happen just as fluent as I did before.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to get that jitter out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I that was the same. Again, I don't have a specific example, but I remember multiple times I would do stuff like that where it was just, but I didn't have a person to call. You know what I mean? So I just didn't do it. I don't know when it switched or whatever, but now, absolutely, I just
I think it's
doesn't really
after
matter.
I think it's after the fact that at least for me it was the fact that I was so confident in my skill set to make money. And I'm not saying like even when adversity happens, like when the car happened, my first thought was not how am I going to pay for this?
Mhm.
It's I got to sell 2 policies, I got to sell 1 course and I pay for my car.
Yeah,
That was the trigger in my head, that thought. It wasn't any because I knew I was confident enough to be able to get my way out of any problem.
Yep.
And that only comes with a ton of experience,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But when you're able to go back to those experiences and go, that's the reason why I can overcome it, it becomes a lot easier. But if you always hit that wall, hit that feeling, and you walk away from it, you can never use that little victory
Mm-hmm.
as a way to get past the future ones.
Yeah, because looking back, the times that I, when I started to follow through and not use those little roadblocks as a excuse. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Excuse me. like you said, you go do whatever it is. Even if it didn't go the way you thought it would go, they almost always, like you said, pay you back. Like if it's today or 3 months from now, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You almost always end up getting something out of it that you wouldn't have gotten if you were to just turn around and not. Um,
Agreed.
yeah, and I don't know. A good one for me is like the first time I went to one of those networking events, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like super nervous. You're like, nah. And oh, here's a good one. There's real estate investing, right? So there's a real estate investing association here in Marion County. And I knew about it. I did the research and found out about it like, I don't know, a month or two after I moved here. Before I even owned a house here, right? I was still living with Carissa, my sister. And I had found out about this thing and I was like, you know what? I want to go to that. I want to see these people. I want to learn from them. I didn't go until I moved into this house 4 years later, right? Because every month I'd say, I'm gonna go. I get 2 free tickets, right, to go to their events, and they do multiple events every month. But I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, and then you know, uh, something stupid, right? I had to work an extra hour. Now I'm hungry. I'm gonna go home, right? Even though they do their events at a restaurant, right?
So that's so funny. You know I'm not a networker. You
Mhm.
know I'm not someone to go sit at a bar, and it's just not my ordeal. Every single night at that conference, there was a networking event at night, and I mean it was the most challenging thing for me because I'm not someone to go do that. The nights that I went to each one of those, I made the best connection. And the thing is, I've only talked to one or two people the entire night,
Yep.
but those one or two connections are the people that I needed to meet. And I don't mean that in like a
I know what you mean.
oh my gosh type of way, like it was aligned stars. Like I'm using two of the softwares, and I met two of the co-owners of the softwares that I'm using.
Yep.
I now have access and partnerships within the companies to be able to progress any of my business faster.
Right.
Would never have happened if I didn't network. But the thing is, it wasn't like I went out and talked to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and literally got one drink, went out on the patio, accidentally bumped into someone, and that was the person I needed to talk to.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I was. It took me 4 years to go to one of those, and then for the next 6 or 8 months, I went repeatedly. I mean, I'm at to 2 events every month, and then they do a third event online. I went to that a couple times, but it was, until our daughter was born, and then I took a little bit of a break, and then I went back again, and then our son was born. I stopped going again. But like those things, and it's not to say, I don't know that I got much out of those because I mean, honestly, I don't think I've gotten a job. I don't think I've gotten anything, but I have given a lot there, because I'm a contractor and they're all real estate investors, so they're wondering and learning,
Mm-hmm.
asking me questions. But, um, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've gotten anything at all from
Well,
besides a couple of good contacts. You know what I mean? Like I know
well,
some good people now.
and that's the thing is that's all networking is there for is eventually
Yeah.
it will come back around and you'll be able to use one of those individuals in your network. And one thing that I struggled with for so long was, and I think this is just, our background is I hate asking people for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate asking for someone for something without providing value first. But we're in a world where if you don't ask, you don't receive.
It's funny because I mean, same way. And I literally just yesterday was talking to one of the guys I hired, right? And I asked him if he wanted something for lunch, because I was headed up to the job site right around lunchtime. So I was like, do you want me to grab you something for lunch? And he goes, no, I'm okay. And I went, okay. See that hesitation? I know what it's like in your position, right? Where I'm the boss. You don't want to upset me. You don't want to, you're trying to be polite. So you just say, no, I'll keep working when I know you want something. You know what I mean? So I told him, I said, listen, this is how this works. If I ask you if you want something, I'm not going to ask a second time. I'm not gonna like I want to bring you something. So give me your answer and don't think that I'm gonna think, oh man, this guy's costing me money. That
I wouldn't have asked
yeah,
if I
exactly.
didn't care.
I'm bringing you food. So when I ask you, you tell me what it is that you want. Don't say, oh, whatever. I'm okay. Tell me what you want to eat. It's that simple, right? And then if you know I'm headed to the job site, ask me and I'll pick something up for you. You know what I mean? Like just, but if you don't ask, I don't know that you want food because I don't eat lunch. You know what I mean? The only reason is because yesterday when I was headed up there, I was like 5 minutes away. And he texts me and says, "Hey, do I have time to go get lunch or are you close?" I was like, I'm getting off right where you would be coming to get lunch. Just let me know what you want. So that's the reason. 90% of the time, like I don't think about lunch because I don't eat it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go, it's 11:30. Let me go get the guys some burgers.
Yeah, I don't. That's one thing I've never understood. Even in the Marine Corps, when everything was like, "Oh, your lunch is right here at this time," I was never like, my body doesn't tell me, "Hey, this is like, I gotta work."
Yeah. That
Like
was
I'm in one mindset. It's called work.
yep.
Once I'm done working, no, I need to eat 100%. Like it's there. But when I'm working, I don't. I've never understood how people like come in and out.
No, I don't know. I don't know. So like I get maybe while I'm working, I eat a granola bar, but like I don't stop working, you
Mhm.
know. Um, but that's yeah, I'm not. I don't really like to do stop and eat a
No,
lunch and then I'm slow again.
no, because that's the exact thing. Is if I go to lunch, honestly, if I go to lunch, 30 minutes isn't really enough. An
Yeah,
hour, it's like, okay, I had enough to eat lunch, but if I want to go to the gym now, I can't go to the gym. And depending on how far have to
yeah,
drive
yeah,
to
yeah.
eat lunch, and it's like, okay, so a good lunch is 2 hours, but if I come back in 2 hours after the gym, I'm not going to be in the mindset to want to work now.
No. So yeah, that whole,
Yeah, no.
like I also like I tell my employees like if you don't ask, you're not getting anything, right? And same thing like, I tell everybody when they start working for me, listen, if you're gonna leave, at least give me a heads up. But also, um, ask me if there's something like let me know what you need help with to see if I can help first. Because there's a chance that I might be able to solve whatever that problem is for you and to keep you on. You know what I mean? Instead of just never calling and never showing up again. You know, but at the very least, at least tell me, hey, I'm getting a new job. Not that.
So let me ask you this though. When was the last time you just asked for something without giving value first?
Well, that's what I'm saying is I tell them, you have to ask. And I don't like I still don't I don't go and ask anybody for anything unless I'm able to do something for them. I don't feel like I don't know. But, you
You
know,
need to pivot that.
well yes and no
Well,
because
no, no, like I understand the sense of if you go up to a billionaire and you're like, "Hey, can I get $1 million?" Obviously.
hmm,
Hey, can I, see your secrets into your business structure? Obviously. There's no value given to him. There's no way he's going to reciprocate that. But what I'm more going towards is the more I'm networking, the bigger my network gets. When people have certain talents,
hmm,
I'm going to them and asking them first, even if they haven't came to me and asked me something.
right.
Because that's the quickest way to my answer, and I'm done trying to do everything myself. And it's
Yeah.
taken me a long time to get out of that mindset of I'll just learn it myself and do it because I am like I can go learn it, but it may take me 3, 4, 5 months. I'd rather just go inside my network, even if I've never provided value to them. Go, hey, look, I would absolutely love if you do this for me. You let me know what I can do for you in return. Here's X, Y, and Z what I can do.
Yep.
That's the way that I go and ask for it. But I've been asking a lot more, and lo and behold, everything's starting to grow a lot faster because I'm not just making it about me. I'm not just centering it around I have to do everything
Hmm.
or I have to provide so much value. I provided so much value to so many people. I can ask someone else for something. And it took me a long time to get over that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I don't know. It's also like right now there's not I mean, there's not that many people that I know that I can go ask that are doing something, the way that that I want to do it, that are in a network. You know what I mean? Like I have to contact them and set up that before I can just say, "Hey, teach me how to do what you're doing."
Well, 100%, but that all that leads into and more or less goes is you just got to start networking with the right people.
Yeah, it's like what we talked about last week, which was, I don't network with anybody in my industry. Um, but
But the
it's
thing is, I'm not even saying in your industry because let's say you don't talk to contractors, but you go to a networking event that you like about business structure, right? And you find someone who does marketing or someone who does AI or someone who does, um, I don't know, someone who comes in and organizes all your tools and labels everything perfectly. You know what I mean? And has a system to be able to do that.
yeah.
You're able to then bounce off of those people. The thing is, you don't need to go to contractors and network.
No, 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 but just the networking in general, like
hmm
getting um
Or the connections. Hey, by
finding
the
the
way,
right ones to go to.
my business partner's uncle is looking to build condos in Daytona. They're looking for a project manager. Are you available?
Yeah.
Like that's where those things come out of the bigger jobs.
Yeah. No, I know. It's and I got like when I told you when I went to those other networking events, all of them were real estate related, but I've gotten plenty of.
It's hard to find the top players though, like in any industry.
I don't think it's hard to find them. The problem is that it's hard to find the events where, well, in every event, there's going to be those people that are just going to the events to pretend that they're top. You know what I mean? They're just going
Yeah.
out there to put on a show and show off for their social media when they're really not doing
Yes.
anything. Um, but when you get to those events, you know who the top people are pretty quickly. I mean, you can weed through the bullshit, at least you and I can, pretty quickly. But then getting like me, I remember at my first ever event that I went to, it was all these people, right? And this guy that I'd seen talk online, and I was like, oh man, I want to go talk to him. You know what I mean? And I watched 20 people go up to him, and I just watched. I never once went up and said a word to him. You know what I mean? And like I'll never forget that. Uh, so the next couple events that I went to, if I wanted to talk to somebody, there were a couple that I was still like, nah, no, they don't want to hear from me. I'm not gonna deal with, I'm not gonna bother them. But there were some that I was like, you just go talk to him, just go talk to him. You know what I mean? So I did that, but still, I fight that inner thing. So what I was gonna say was, this is a perfect uh, exercise to fix that. So some book that I read about sales said, when I was first getting into sales, my older brother had already been in sales for a while, and I wanted to learn how to do it.
hmm
So he made me go to the food court at the mall and ask everybody to buy me or for some money to give me some money so I can get a hot dog. And he goes, that is the worst feeling in the world. When you're just going up to strangers saying, hey, I don't have any money. Can you give me some money for a hot dog? And he goes, when you realize, he's like, I had to do that for 8 hours. 8 hours I had to go up to people. He goes, in the first couple, I mean, let me tell you something. I wanted to shoot myself. I wanted to hide in the bathroom and cry, like all this stuff. But he goes, when you realize that A, you're never going to see that person again, and B, some of them actually give you money, you go, wow, this really isn't that bad. You know what I mean? So when you can, I read that a while ago and I thought, man, that's pretty. I mean, I don't want to do it. I'll tell you that right now, but it's something that I should do because again, what does it do? It makes you uncomfortable.
Well, the thing is, you know what I'm thinking of? You said that, and I go, I bet I can get more money than that guy.
What?
The guy who went and did that, because all I'm thinking of is you just have to play like you would have to play into the character. You have to have more raggedy clothes, go up, just start more apologetic more than anything. try to compliment them, and then try to go. But the thing is, what I'm going at it is like, I see that as a challenge.
Yeah.
Vice, most people would be fearful of that.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I don't want to go ask people for money at all. Any ever.
I'm not saying it would be on my high priority, but what I'm saying is like I feel like I could do better than most people at that though.
Yeah, so but that was the whole point of it was if you can do that, make yourself uncomfortable asking people questions and stuff that you don't ever want to do, um, then everything else is, just it's easy to talk to people at that point. So sales, cold calling is nothing when you've put yourself out there and you know that you've got a $100 bill in your freaking wallet and you're asking these people for money for a hot dog. You know what I mean?
And it gets 10 times easier, and like you're learning 100% with that, doing that. But the nice thing is,
Oh, is that your phone?
yeah,
I was like, what the hell is that sound?
yeah, no, my phone was just going off. The interesting thing is building that grit and knowing if you get the right conversation, you actually make a ton of money.
Yeah, and so that's similar to like real estate investing, right? And it's a reason that I haven't blown up in real estate investing. Um, is
You're not willing to take the shit for a good month or two of just thousands of dials of getting told F you.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is like I just said, I don't want to ask people for money. But that's what real estate, like that's how you make money in real estate is you find that money. You ask those people for that money.
Yes.
But and I do have people now that will give me money, you know what I mean? But I'm just focused on getting my company to a certain point before I steer off in that direction because I've done it in the past where I focus on the company and then shift and now I want to do real estate and then this falls apart. So I come back over here and that
Yeah,
falls
and you
apart.
just jumble back and forth.
Yeah, so I just need to get this to a certain point and then I'll do that. But anyway, I I could have gone a lot further if I just focused on that and wasn't afraid to just ask people for money. You know what I mean?
But I
When it
also
comes to
feel,
investments.
to be honest, I feel as if you took the indoctrination of the Marine Corps to heart, it's hard to go. At least I struggled with it in the beginning of my sales, going in the homes and asking for money because it was against like how at least it was set up. How I was taught how to do it was just come out and go, okay, hey, perfect. It's going to be this amount. That's what you're spending. Let's go ahead and do it. It was just against my like core values to just bluntly come out and say something like that. Took me a long time to look in the mirror and go, the reason why I'm not making money is purely because my own beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone else is making money, that just means because they believe something different than me. Now, I can still be ethical and sell it. I just have to know what the end goal is. The end goal is I'm never going to see this person again in the sense of like walking their home. I may get on the phone, I do
Yeah, I know
my
what you mean.
conversations with them, but I'm never going to see this person again if I don't walk out of this house with money. I just wasted my time and my family's time.
Mm-hmm.
I had to shift it to that concept
Yeah.
to be able to start asking people for money. Before that, it was more just, I can't, like, I'm doing them a disservice asking them for the money. Like, it's just,
Yeah, yours is
I
an
struggled.
interesting
I
one.
struggled with that in the beginning, hardcore, because the Marine Corps ethics of just helping out everyone, not doing the wrong thing, not just trying to sell them policy. And then it took me a long time to understand. It's like your job is to sell life insurance.
Yeah.
People are not going to want to buy life insurance in the beginning because it's something you use when you die. It's not something you use up front in the products that I was selling in the beginning. Final expense term.
Right.
That's why I ultimately did shift products because it's a more ethical sale for me and there's no competing ethics there.
Yeah.
I was good at selling life insurance to anyone and I got really good ethically selling it and being able to persuade people that it is a good idea for their loved ones. But I like a product where I don't have to do that and it just sells itself.
Yeah. So, and for mine, it's a little different
Yeah.
because but even to this day, right? I sell jobs, and then when it's time to get a deposit, when it's time to get this draw, I have this feeling in my gut that's like, oh, they're gonna say no. They're not gonna say yeah. They're not gonna pay you. because I got screwed over so many times at the beginning.
Yep.
But like so I'm like nervous to ask for money. I still do it now. Like I'm over, not doing it, but it's still like, you know, right when I'm about to send the text, I'm like, "Oh, this is not going to go well." Every single time, especially because I pre-qualify my
Hmm.
people. I work well, I do good work. There's never a problem with, they ask, a lot of them are like, "Hey, do I owe you money?" Like,
I
don't I
feel
owe you
like
money?"
you'll always have that case because even when I bill an agent for anything, or I'm helping out agents and I bill them like
Yeah.
that type of clientele, I always get that gut feeling of like, okay, if they say no, I just wasted my time. Like, this is gonna suck. Do I want to send it? Do I even send it? Obviously, I always send it because I want to collect my cash.
Yeah.
But the feeling's always there. It's just the fact that it's just doesn't control or have an actual saying anymore. It just stays.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what it was for me. I every single time. I mean, just yesterday I had to ask for $30,000, right? And I'm like, "Whew, this is not gonna. There's gonna be some issue. They don't want to pay me. They already had the check ready. Like, it's those types of things that, um, you get over after a while. But that would be some of the advice that I have for those that are just getting started. Like, especially if you've already sold the job. Like yours is a little different, but like for me, they know the money is due. Ask them,
Exactly.
put it, make sure, give them a heads up. Hey, Friday, I need that money. Don't
And
don't fuck me.
this is what I'll say in any sale, because mine are more of an upfront that day sale. If you preference it the right way and you let them know what's to come, every client I sit down with before I even start going through my presentation, I let them know we're throwing down an application today and we're going to figure out something to make sense for your budget. If not, I'm just going to get up and walk away because it's a waste of my time and a waste of your time. It doesn't fit your budget. Sound fair?
Mm,
And they know that. So they know it's going to be they're spending money one way or another. If not, I'm not opening up my book, if that makes sense.
mm,
But I preference it from the very get go and soft close them the entire time. So there's no shock. There's no boom in the beginning. I never did that. I just like, oh, I'm here to show you your information. It's free.
yeah,
The information's free. If you decide to go with the policy, it's money.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it was terrible. Didn't preference anything, and it was that feeling all the time of going like, will they say yes? Will they say no? Well, they're obviously going to say no because I didn't set it up right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, uh, that for you, it's it is different, and it's not different. I don't know how much pre-qualifying you can do for that kind of stuff.
Well, for the sales I do now, back in the day, it really
Now
isn't
it's yeah, now
pre-qualifying.
it's
Now it's a lot of like I pre-qualify quite heavily. You have to be within a certain amount of income range. You have to be
yeah,
spending a certain amount. You have to have a certain why to be doing it. You have to have um, a certain amount of beneficiaries, a certain amount of, and I typically go for families so I can cross sell in children policies. I've got criteria nowadays. Back then it was if you were a living soul, I was going to sell you some insurance.
oh, try to sell you some insurance. Yeah, and we've
Well,
we've tried, or we've talked about that too. But that's the whole thing now. Is like I pre-qualify everybody, but again, I still get nervous. I get that feeling that like this isn't gonna work. I don't know what I'm doing. I messed this up. They're not gonna pay me. It just doesn't. I don't think I'll ever get over that. But
no, obviously that just comes more and more. I think I'll get over that when I sell my first company because then I'll feel like I actually like I've done it. I've proved myself. It's just repeating what I've done in the past at that point.
yep, yep.
I
So
think maybe that point I'll be more abded.
yeah, I mean all that just to get back to say the original topic that you brought up, which was overcoming adversity. Right. So
Yeah.
we all that stuff that you went through at the beginning, all the missed payments that I had, people just cutting out, not paying me after I finished the work, and all of that, or me underbidding and still coming back to fix things.
So to kind of go and lean into that a little, I could have been more upset. I could have not went to the conference. The conference actually unlocked a meeting for me when I got back, which is one of my biggest sales to come. So It's one of those things to where if I didn't even go to the conference and go through that little bit of adversity, I wouldn't have been able to get the ability to have that secondary, well, the first meeting, but to be able to lock on a ginormous account to be able to have a multi-million-dollar software company.
Yeah.
That would not have happened if I did not fight through that. And I'm saying little. Someone wrecking their car, they're only traveling when you have two kids and a wife, is not little when that's your only transportation. That's the only thing you drive for a living, basically, to go to different
Yeah.
agencies. It's kind of hard to move forward with that
Yeah.
in the sense of like, okay, hey, I got to take care of this right now. No,
Right.
I'd rather just go, hey, I can go sell a couple things, pay for it on the back end, rent out whatever car I need to now, and just focus on what I can literally control because I can't control none of that.
Right. Yep. That's it. That's funny. But I don't. I mean, here's a good example of my adversity this week. So 2 weeks ago, I hired two guys, right? And then I think I explained on the last podcast that that following Monday they were both supposed to start. Only one showed up. The other one no call, no showed. Right. So immediately I get back, put out some ads to get some help in, interview 4 or 5 guys, try 2 of them, both no call, no show. Come in, excited to get to work, right? Do the interview, everything good. Nothing. They just so that's what. So I have a guy in the field that needs 2 sets of hands, right? He needs him and somebody else. He's lifting heavy stuff up over his
By
head.
himself right now.
Yeah. So what do I do? Well, what do you do? What do you do? What would you do if that's your business?
What I would do immediately is go to a staffing company and get an assistant real quick while I look for a natural employee in the meantime.
So while that kid is out there, or not kid, guy, well, that man is out there working by himself, not able to lift anything. You know what I mean?
Did you hear what I said though?
What?
I would go to a staffing company, get one of their work because they always have people on standby. I'd get one standby one. He wouldn't be smart. He would just be a dummy person for 15, 18 bucks an hour. I would have him fill in until I get my employee in so he could at least have a working hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be working diligently to be getting the next employee in so I could get that staffer out.
So I had what did I have? I had a guy from a staffing company. I tried that,
Okay.
and he didn't show up. Right. So I said, what the fuck? And they were like, well, we've never had that issue with this guy, and maybe there's something wrong. Regardless, I have a project manager that went out to give him a hand, right? So, but while he's doing that, he's not at the other jobs,
Yeah.
right? So we get back to the other job, and it's a mess. The subs didn't do anything; they didn't clean up after themselves. It's a nightmare. Luckily, the homeowners are out of town, so we got it all fixed up. But the other thing is, there's some wallpaper that needs to be done, right? Small little space wallpaper that needs to be done, and nobody will do it. I've called, I don't know how many people. Myself and my project manager have called, I don't know how many people. Nobody will do it. But they want what they want. They wanted wallpaper. So I was out doing fucking wallpaper this week. I still got all my other stuff done, but I had to go do wallpaper and fill in as a project manager for a couple hours for a couple days. You know what I mean? And now that's all caught up, and I get back to work. You know what I mean? And now I don't need a second guy because I only needed him for that one job. So now we're all back to normal. Everything's good, but it's like it killed me, to have to go hang wallpaper because we can't get anybody in that because we have a deadline and nobody's gonna do it. So
Wallpaper. But that's because it's wallpaper, bro.
yeah, so I'm out hanging wallpaper this week. It was great. It was so fun. I got PTSD because one of my first jobs ever was wallpaper, and it was a nightmare because the stuff that she got, and it's the same thing that I'm working with now. They repeat, right? The pattern repeats, and you got to match them up. And when you're done rolling one out, you should be able to pull it off of there, stick it up here, and then they repeat.
Yeah, not that easy.
No, you got to cut off 18 inches and throw it away, and then restart. You know how fucking stupid that is? So, like, luckily she had gotten enough. I told her to get extra because I was worried that would happen, and we made it happen. But anyway, that's what I did this week was try to get guys out there. So the first guy, I 2 guys I tried to hire. 1 guy I tried to have from a staffing company. And I was like, all right, this is fucking stupid. So I sent him out there to help him lift stuff up. And then I just had to, clean up a couple things and manage a couple subs this week. But it's all back to flush, except for my project manager is what's he doing? He was installing trim all this week. He was still doing his managerial stuff, but he was installing trim because the trim guys also, like, you call 8 companies and they're all, oh, I'm 2 months out. Oh, I'm gonna charge you $20,000 to install that. Like, what the hell are you talking about? So you just have to shift and adjust, and that's how it works as a contractor. You know what I mean? You can't,
Yeah.
especially when you're doing high-end stuff. I can't just have a staffing company come out. You know what I mean? And just
Well, not
butcher
for.
the shit out of it. So
Well, I'm not saying for the actual skilled work. I would never
no,
hire
absolutely.
that out, but laborers, I don't know.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm dealing with. So I shift around, and we get everything back to running correctly, and we luckily we're about to close out 2 of these projects. So everything after that is, I mean, we start 6 more, but everything after that is we've got the systems in place now, and I have employees. If I can get a laborer someday, I'm still looking for one, but I don't need one right now, which was the problem. Like, I needed one. That's what fucked everything up.
Okay, so but you don't need one now.
I don't need him, but I will need him in the future, right? So, like, if I get one now, good. I've got that filled. I don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, like, we can manage without him right now. But this last week was the only job that I always sub it out, but the subs were taking forever, and I was like, well, I got 2 guys starting on Monday. I'll take it on. And, of course, the second guy didn't show up, so that guy got screwed. So the one employee that I have that was out there by himself got screwed. But, is what it is.
Will he come back Monday?
He's been here for 2 weeks, showed up every day. So, yeah, I think he'll be back Monday.
Good.
Yep, I'm actually gonna take them to lunch this afternoon for busting their asses last week for me. It was ridiculous. These last 2 weeks have been really, really hard on everybody. So the fact that those 2 are still kicking around after I've been making them do some dumb shit is pretty great. But anyway, overcoming adversity. That's part of the business. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to put your tool belt on if you need to. Do everything you can not to, because things don't progress. But if you have to, you have to. Get out there and get to work.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you have a tool belt, but you know what I mean.
Well, no, for mine, just to more or less put that into more perspective, do the things you can control and don't focus on the uncontrollable, because in sales there's a lot of uncontrollables. You can't control how your client's going to react to you. You can't control how that prospect's going to receive you. You can control how positive you are. And then 2, you can do more activity that's going to result you in the overall outcome that you want. So if you want money, stop thinking about money. Think about how many people do I have to contact to provide value to make money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right, well, I don't know how long that was, but
Good there.
yeah, we'll shut her down. We'll see you guys next time. Anything else?
Nope.
Gotta ask. It's a requirement. All right, we'll see you guys.